Welcome back. Today we're exploring zero shot learning, few shot learning, and instruction tuning, different paradigms for how models learn new tasks.
Keen, these approaches represent a major shift from traditional machine learning, where you need thousands of label examples for every task.
Let's start with zero shot learning. What does it mean for a model to perform a task with zero examples?
Zero shot learning is when you describe a task in natural language and the model attempts it without seeing any examples.
For instance, you might say translate the following sentence to French and then provide the English sentence.
The model hasn't been explicitly trained on translation in this format, but it understands the instruction and attempts the task.
This works because large language models have seen so much diverse data during pre training that they've encountered many different tasks and learned general patterns.
They develop a kind of task understanding, they can interpret instructions and apply relevant knowledge.
The quality of zero shot performance varies dramatically with model size.
Smaller models often struggle with zero shot tasks. Larger models like GPT-3, GPT-4, and other frontier models can be quite capable.
This is one of those emergent abilities that appears at scale.
Zero shot learning is incredibly convenient because you don't need any label data for the task, just a clear description.
But performance is often lower than few shot or fine tuned approaches.
Which brings us to few shot learning. What's the difference?
Few shot learning provides a small number of examples, typically 1 to 10, in the prompt before the actual test input.
For example, you might show the model three examples of sentiment classification, positive, negative, and neutral reviews with labels, then ask it to classify a new review.
The model learns the task pattern from these examples without any parameter updates.
This is called in context learning because the learning happens within the context window, not through gradient descent.
Few shot learning often dramatically outperforms zero shot.
The examples help the model understand the task format, the desired output style, and edge cases.
The quality and diversity of the few shot examples matters a lot.
Examples should be clear, representative of the task, and ideally cover different types of inputs.
There's research on optimal example selection, which examples help the model learn best.
Similarity based selection chooses examples similar to the test input. Diversity based selection ensures broad coverage.
The order of examples can also matter. Models can be sensitive to example ordering.
Now let's talk about instruction tuning, which explicitly trains models to follow instructions.
Instruction tuning, also called supervised fine tuning, uses datasets of instruction response pairs.
Each example has an instruction summarize this article, answer this question, write code for this task, paired with a high quality response.
The model is fine tuned to minimize the loss on generating the correct responses given the instructions.
This transforms a base language model into an instruction following assistant.
After instruction tuning, the model becomes much better at zero shot and few shot tasks.
It has learned the general skill of following instructions, not just the specific tasks in the training set.
The diversity of instruction tuning data is crucial.
You want coverage of many different task types, domains, and instruction formats.
Datasets like FLAN, T0, and various instruction tuning collections contain thousands of different tasks.
Some are synthetically generated, some are curated from existing benchmarks, some are human written.
Let's discuss prompt engineering in the context of zero shot and few shot learning.
Prompt engineering is the art and science of crafting inputs to elicit desired model behavior.
Small changes to phrasing, format, or framing can significantly affect outputs.
For zero shot tasks, adding context like you are an expert assistant or think carefully can improve performance.
For few shot learning, the template you use for examples matters.
Consistent formatting helps the model recognize the pattern.
There's also chain of thought prompting where you include reasoning steps in the examples.
Instead of just showing input output pairs, you show input reasoning output.
For example, for a math problem, you'd show the step by step solution process, not just the final answer.
Chain of thought prompting dramatically improves performance on reasoning tasks.
The model learns to think out loud and work through problems systematically.
Interestingly, Chain of thought is another emergent ability. It works well on large models, but not small ones.
There's also zero shot chain of thought, where you just append let's think step by step to the prompt.
This simple addition can significantly improve reasoning performance without providing any examples.
Let's talk about self consistency, which builds on chain of thought.
Instead of generating one chain of thought reasoning path, you generate many.
Then you look at the final answers from all paths and take a majority vote.
This helps because reasoning can be stochastic. Different paths might make different errors, but consistent answers are more likely correct.
Self consistency improves accuracy but requires multiple inference passes, increasing cost.
Another prompting technique is REACT, which interleaves reasoning and action.
The model alternates between thinking about what to do and taking actions like calling tools or retrieving information.
This is particularly useful for complex tasks that require external information or multiple steps.
Let's discuss the limitations of few shot learning.
First, context length limits how many examples you can provide.
If examples are long, you might only fit a few in the context window.
Second, few shot learning uses valuable context space that could be used for task inputs.
Third, it requires inference time computation for all examples, increasing latency and cost.
And fourth, few shot performance typically doesn't match full fine tuning on sufficient data.
So, when should you use each approach?
Use zero shot when you have no examples and need a quick solution, or when the task is simple and well defined.
Use few shot when you have a few examples and want better performance than zero shot without fine tuning.
Use instruction tuning or fine tuning when you have more data, need optimal performance, or want to deploy a specialized model.
Let's talk about instruction tuning datasets.
Early influential datasets include natural instructions, which reformatted many NLP tasks as instructions.
FLN is a collection of instruction formatted tasks used to train Google's models.
T0 is similar, focusing on a core set of diverse tasks.
More recently, there are datasets like Alpaca, Dolly, and Open Assistant that include conversational and assistant style instructions.
Some instruction datasets are generated by prompting strong models like GPT-4 to create diverse instructions and responses.
This self instruct approach can create large scale instruction data, though quality varies.
Let's discuss program aided language models, or PAL.
PAL uses few shot learning to teach models to write code that solves problems.
Instead of answering directly, the model generates Python code, which is then executed to get the answer.
This delegates numerical computation and complex logic to a reliable interpreter.
It's particularly effective for math, data analysis, and algorithmic reasoning tasks.
Another related idea is tool use or function calling.
Through instruction tuning or few shot prompting, models can learn to invoke external tools, calculators, search engines, databases, APIs.
The model becomes an orchestrator that knows when to use tools and how to integrate their results.
This dramatically extends model capabilities beyond the parameters alone.
Let's talk about the relationship between model size and in context learning ability.
Smaller models often struggle with in context learning. They might not effectively use the few shot examples.
Larger models are much better at extracting patterns from examples and applying them.
There seems to be a threshold around 10 billion parameters where in context learning becomes reliable, though this varies.
This suggests that in context learning requires substantial model capacity.
Finally, let's discuss meta learning versus in context learning.
Meta learning explicitly trains models to learn from few examples by optimizing over many few shot episodes during training.
In context learning emerges from standard language modeling without explicit optimization for few shot adaptation.
Yet, in context learning is remarkably effective, suggesting that language modeling inherently trains the model to extract patterns from context.
So, to recap, zero shot learning uses natural language instructions with no examples. Few shot learning provides examples in the prompt for in context learning. Instruction tuning trains models to follow diverse instructions. Chain of thought prompting elicits reasoning, and techniques like React and tool use extend capabilities further.
Next episode, we're exploring cross lingual transfer, building multilingual models, and transferring across languages.
Thanks for listening.
Until next time, keep learning and stay curious about AI.